Welcome to the RavensSpace on YouTube. My name is Jason, and this is RavensSpace Daily, where we talk about Baltimore Ravens news every single weekday. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you're not subscribed to the RavensSpace on YouTube, please subscribe. Also, I want to give a special shout out to our Patreon supporters because you guys are the real MVPs of the RavensSpace. I also want to say thank you guys so much for joining me today and for the whole week. This is Friday, so it's the last episode of RavensSpace Daily of the week. Again, thank you guys so much. We have 3 great news stories and a mailbag question from you guys. We'll hop right into the first story of the day, which talks about Brian Billick and whether the Ravens should put him into the Ravens Ring of Honor. If there are any new fans who don't know, Brian Billick was the coach of the Baltimore Ravens before we hired John Harbaugh. Under Brian Billick, we won our first Super Bowl. Also, he transformed the culture from a culture of some struggles to a winning culture. And I think it's atrocious that he's not in the Ring of Honor. There's 2 things about the Baltimore Ravens organization that I can't, stand. Not can't stand, but I want to happen very badly. The first is that Ed Reed should have a statue. Give Ed Reed a statue, okay? Give Ed Reed a statue. Second, put Brian Billick in the Ring of Honor. Again, Brian Billick was much more influential on our team than even players like Todd Heap, who I love. Now, if Brian Billick isn't in the Ring of Honor, then what coach for the Baltimore Ravens can be in the Ring of Honor? What's the limit? 2 Super Bowls? Like, you have to let me know. Brian Billick took a culture and changed it to a winning culture. And I think that it's kind of crazy and ludicrous that he is not in the Ring of Honor. ESPN's Jameson Hensley said it best where they talk about how he's changed the culture. The Ravens were 16-31-1 in their first 3 seasons and never finished higher than 4th in the division. In 2 years, Billick had them celebrating their first Super Bowl triumph. And that shows you we were a losing team. Billick came in and he changed the culture. Of course, he should be in the Ring of Honor. It's crazy. He's the reason when we think about Baltimore and that swag we have on defense. He helped build something special in Baltimore. I think him coming back to be on the broadcast team in the preseason is the first steps to this, but he definitely should be in the Ring of Honor. Let me know what you guys think. Should he be in the Ring of Honor? Yes or no? The next story of the day also comes from ESPN, and it talks about the AFC North and predictions from the ESPN AFC North editors. So that's the editor for the Browns, Bengals, Steelers, and Ravens. What's going to happen is they all go in and say who they think is going to win the division and who is going to make the playoffs. So all the analysts said Steelers are going to win the division. I'm not going to disagree with that. Steelers are a very talented team. I really do think that their big 3 is enough to help them win the division like they did last year. I'm also going to say that they also said that the Ravens are going to be the second team to make the playoffs. 2 outright predicted that, and the other 2 said if anyone makes it, it's going to be the Ravens. It shows that what I think the Ravens will get into the wild card at a 10 win, and then they're going to make some real noise in the playoffs. I would like to see how that forms, and anything could happen. An injury to a key Steeler could put the Ravens in front talent-wise. The Ravens could outperform our expectations. Again, I know a lot of people in the comments said that the best, case scenario is 16-0. If you expect any team to go 16-0, I'll take you on that bet. I just don't think it's something that's realistic to bet. And so, again, one of the things is if you think the Ravens are going to win the AFC, that's cool. I just don't think that's realistic. But I do think it is realistic that they can get to 10-6 and make the playoffs. And when you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. And then the third article of the day comes from the Bleacher Report. And it talks about the biggest question and the biggest buzz around every team at the end of training camp. And for the Baltimore Ravens, the question is who's going to start at tight end? And we've talked about this a lot, so we're going to keep it shorter. So right now there are 4 contenders in the race. You got Ben Watson, you got Crockett Gilmore, you got Nick Boyle, and you have Max Williams. And BaltimoreRavens.com analyst John Eisenberg said that he thinks that it's going to be Ben Watson from what he's seen in the open practices. And Ben Watson may look good. I really do think that the Ravens want to give players a shot like a Crockett Gilmore. I think they love Crockett Gilmore. They love his athleticism and his height. I think they want to give him a shot. And then after that, I think it's going to be Nick Boyle. I do not think they are as enchanted with Max Williams anymore. But, you know, it just matters what we see. If the Ravens put in Watson's going to give you 1 year and then he's going to retire. I don't know if the Ravens want to do that. Maybe they want to give players a chance, because Watson is not so much better than Crockett Gilmore, in my opinion. He's come off an injury. He's getting older. We just don't know what he can do. And old tight ends are old tight ends. And, you know, they have a little bit more mileage than like an old receiver. But still, when you can have a Crockett Gilmore who can actually like dominate the middle of the field, you might want to put him in, or Nick Boyle, and give Nick Boyle a chance to develop into a star tight end if he has that potential. And like we do at the end of every single Ravens Space Daily, we have a question that comes from you guys, from the Ravens Space community. And this question comes from Tyler, and Tyler asks, everyone I talk to likes Tim Williams more than Tyus Bowser. Why would that be? Tyus Bowser was drafted earlier, and I think that he's a better player. Thank you so much for your question. And the reason is that Tim Williams, if he is at his best, he's an elite pass rusher. And the Baltimore Ravens fans know that, and they can see that. If Tyus is at his best, he's an all-around player, and which is not a bad thing at all. But again, you win this game by affecting the quarterback, by putting players like Tom Brady on the ground. Defensive Player of the Year candidates who are outside linebackers don't win Defensive Player of the Year for dropping back in the zone. They win it for sacks, sack strips, and batted passes. Like when Terrell Suggs won his 1 year, or when JJ Watt keeps on winning them. It's because that you get to the quarterback and you put the quarterback on the ground. A lot of people might say, like a JJ Watt example, you have to do more than just rush the passer, but that is such a pivotal part and it's so important. You have players like Von Miller, again, and he won Defensive Player in the Super Bowl. You have Khalil Mack, Defensive Player of the Year, rush the passer. So you see how important rushing the passer is. So if Tim Williams can be great at rushing the passer, it's going to make a world of difference for the Ravens, and that's why the Ravens fans really like Tim Williams. I like Tim Williams too. I do think he's a very, very raw, but again, if he develops the moves he has to develop in the NFL, he will have a chance to be a great player. But that's the reason that they like him more than a Tyus Bowser, is that Tim Williams has the potential to be an elite pass rusher, while Tyus Bowser, if he's elite, he'll be an elite player all around. But again, the name of the game is affecting the quarterback, and getting the quarterback on the ground is one of the most valuable things you can do in the league. Thank you so much for your question. This has been the end of Ravens Space Daily for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Please subscribe to the Ravens Space on YouTube if you're not subscribed. Find us on our different social media channels. Check out our Patreon page. And again, have a great weekend. Can't wait to see you guys again on Monday. Go Ravens.